Why do they never go in for me?
Hey music lovers, yes, I'm back again, and this time I'm doing the vinyl tag. Yep, it's that time of year, beginning of the year, vinyl tag 2019. For those people who haven't seen a vinyl tag before, it's 20 questions dreamed up by somebody, and various members of various members of the vinyl community and people who post about records online on YouTube. Talk about and answer the questions. I've done one for 2017, then did one for 2018, and now here's 2019. So I've got all the questions written down here on a sheet of paper, which I will have on my lap. Obviously, glasses up and down, reading the answers. So here we go. Right, question 1. So the best find of 2018. Now, my best find of 2018 was an album that I actually bought twice in the end. I picked it up in a job lot from a guy on eBay, and unfortunately that copy skipped, but it was so good I had to buy it again, and this is the copy. So it's Charlie Daniels Band, or Charlie Daniels, Honey in the Rock. This is a brilliant, brilliant record. It's got that, a lot of it's got that Southern soul feel, mixed in with some country rock. It's one of those genre-defying records that I reckon Bobby Gillespie would be into. If he's not into this, then I'd be really surprised. It is an astounding record. I absolutely love playing this. I played this more than any other record I bought last year, definitely. So many good tracks. Funky Junkie, Why Can't People, Revelations, Uneasy Rider, which is a out-and-out country tale of a long-haired hippie getting a flat, going into a bar, and getting into a fight with a load of rednecks, and then getting out again. Somebody Loves You, No Peace of Mind. It's got fantastic backing vocals, great instrumentation. Just love this record. Right, question 2. Shout out to other VC channel. Now I think this was a shout out to another VC channel that doesn't have many subscribers. So a channel I've got into lately, and he hasn't got many subscribers. I think he's still got less than 100, I think. So it's a chap by the name of Johnny Seed. That's Seed spelt C-E-E-D. And he posts all kinds of stuff. Laserdisc movies, he posts about vinyl, he posts about just all kinds of stuff. So it's not just strictly a vinyl channel, but he posts a lot of vinyl, and it's a great channel to watch. And he seems like a really nice guy as well. So go and watch his channel. Question 3. What holes are you looking to fill in your collection? I guess I don't necessarily have a lot like holes that I want to fill. I have such a wide taste in music that I tend to pick up stuff that just takes my fancy. And the way I buy records is I tend to go rooting around a lot rather than going to online or record stores to buy something specific. However, that said, I would like a copy of Second Coming by the Stone Roses on vinyl. I guess that's a massive hole in my collection, really. And I'd also like to get the rest of the Ozzy era Black Sabbath albums. So I don't have Black Sabbath. I don't have, and then the, what are they? Sabotage. I don't have Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. Is that the album called? Yeah, that one. And I don't have Never Say Die. I've heard, I know some of those albums. Technical Ecstasy is another one. I like all of them. I've heard them all, but I'm looking for them. Probably won't get them, but there you go. Right, question 4. Time to show another record. A cheap album that's really good. Now I took this to mean an album that you can find just about anywhere for like peanuts, and I've bought at least 3 copies myself, and then continually upgrading just because they're so cheap and so easy to come by. So I've got this one, which is The Sound of Bread. You can find this anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And some of the songs on here are great. Fancy Dancer, Guitar Man, Everything I Own, of course. Stuff like It Don't Matter to Me. Yeah, it's a bit soft rock-y, but I really, really like it. And I prefer it to somebody like the Eagles or somebody like that. Of course, they were in around a bit earlier than the Eagles. But I really like it. It was fairly, there's nothing groundbreaking on here, but I just like the music. Okay. Question 5. Your favourite side project album. This one had me stumped for a while. I couldn't think of anything, and I thought, do I get a solo record by somebody? But then I thought, oh yeah, of course, this is a beautiful record. This is perfect. So I've chosen this one, which is The Moon and the Melodies. And this was recorded basically, well, it's recorded by Harold Budd, Elizabeth Fraser, Robin Guthrie and Simon Raymond. So it's basically Harold Budd and the Cocteau Twins released an album together. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous record. I really should play it more often than I do. Picked it up in a sale back in, I don't know, when did this come out? Let's have a look. Has it got a date on it, a year on it? 1986. So I would have bought it that year in a sale. And it's a beautiful record, absolutely gorgeous. Lovely 4AD art, of course. So there we go, Moon and the Melodies, favourite side project record. Now, this one, a song from a band or artist that is uncharacteristic in their catalogue. Now, this song I've chosen is from my favourite artist of all time, and anybody who's watched my videos will know who I'm about to talk about. It's uncharacteristic because it's a cover. It's also uncharacteristic because it's a cod reggae tune, going back to James Griffiths' video. I don't know if he included this or not, I can't remember. But the song is Rocket Man, and it's by Kate Bush. She very rarely covered other people's songs. I think she did a copy of I Heard It, wait a minute. On the B-side of King of the Mountain, she did a Marvin Gaye song. And she did a Donovan song on the B-side of Babushka. And as far as I'm aware, they're the only ones, maybe others, but she very rarely covered other people's songs. And she on the B-side is Candle in the Wind, which I think is more of a straight ahead. Oh, it's been a long time since I played that. But Rocket Man is definitely completely different. She did use bits of reggae at times. There's bits on her debut album, I think, but this is just completely atypical of her discography. Right. The last album we purchased. So at the time I compiled these answers, this was the last album I purchased. I have purchased some since, but I'm going to keep with this one. So for £1, I picked up a Keep On Truckin' album, one of these country trucking albums. I hadn't had this one before, so it's got some great stuff on here. People like, Hank Snow's on here, Chip Hawkes, Bobby Bear's on here, George Hamilton IV. But I love these trucking songs. And what a great idea to have songs about trucking. I think it's great. Caffeine, nicotine, Benzodrine. There you go. That's what you need to keep on trucking. Great album with a bad cover. Now, this record I could have shown on another answer as well. Now, do I show the inside of it? The outside of it? Right, I'm going to show the inside of it. So, it is Electric Ladyland. By Jimi Hendrix Experience. And you know why I'm not showing the outside. I think I showed it in another video, but I'm not taking a chance with it. It is a terrible cover. Really, really bad. And Hendrix himself hated it. There's another, there was a picture of the Experience on a water fountain with a load of kids. Maybe in New York, maybe in Central Park, I don't know where it was. But that's the picture he wanted. It's such a shame that the British record company decided to go out with this, which is taking the title literally, Electric Ladyland. The American cover had a really blurry shot of Hendrix's head, which is just almost nearly as bad and as much of a cop-out. For such a monumental album, it has easily got one of the worst album covers, and I know this is probably an easy pick, but it is dire. So there we go, Electric Ladyland, terrible cover. And then question 9, a bad album with a good cover. So I don't actually own that many bad albums. There's a few that are a bit, but it's more albums that I was disappointed with. But there's one album above all others that I think is bad, and probably the most disappointing record I've ever owned, but it's got a gorgeous cover, and that is Tonight by David Bowie. I love this cover. It's a gorgeous cover, absolutely lovely, and the back cover's nice as well, but it's a dire album. I mean, apart from, you know, it would have, I think I've said this before, it would have made a good EP, but it was rushed. I think it was released probably barely a year after Let's Dance. I mean, Blue Jean's a good song. Loving the Alien is fantastic. More cod reggae on here. Terrible. It is such a disappointing album, but such a gorgeous cover. So there we go. Right. Blues album. I don't know why, I don't seem to have that much blues vinyl. I've got a few, but it seems most of my stuff's on CD, so I went a bit out of the box, and I've gone with this, which is Canned Heat Cookbook, which is a compilation of Canned Heat, and they were a blues band. They were started off by, what are the names? Oh dear. The two main men in Canned Heat, and I can't remember their names at all because I'm being completely useless. Started off as a blues band, later played with John Lee Hooker on Hooker and Heat, which I think is great and that I would love on vinyl. But it's a terrific album, terrific stuff, and they were such a good band. Yeah, they had the things like Let's Going Up the Country, and things like On the Road Again. But things like Amphetamine Annie, Time Was, which is a fantastic song, Bullfrog Blues, great stuff. And this one I got this in a jumble sale about 1986, 1987, 1986. Probably for about 50p, I think. Splendid stuff. Right, what's next? An earworm song. There's so many earworm songs, so many. I mean, you've got the traditional bad stuff like Sigh and Stupid Song from Korea, or things like Star Trekking, which was the UK #1. Matt Hayes loves that. We've got things like, I mean, things that I keep finding myself singing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Don't know why. keep whistling Hi Ho. But the one recent song that I think is an earworm would be Clean Bandit and Rockabye, which I can't get out of my head at times. If I catch it on the radio, it just like keeps there until I get something else in there. So I guess that would be my earworm of choice, Rockabye by Clean Bandit. Don't actually own it anywhere, CD or nothing, but yeah, there we go. Right. Question 12. A historically important artist. I'm going to go back to the 80s for this, and I'm going to go for an artist who used, I think, basically started an almost a revolution in music and how sound was used in music. And that band I'm going to talk about briefly is the Jesus and Mary Chain. And specifically, well, I don't have a copy of the single. I've got it on a compilation, Barbed Wire Kisses. But this record, and specifically Upside Down, nobody had ever used feedback in the way that the Reed brothers did on this album and their early records. It was a total revelation, total influence on so many bands, directly led to like My Bloody Valentine, and which led to shoegaze and 1,000 guitar singers in the 80s and 90s. I think they all owe a debt in part to Jesus and Mary Chain. Their this album's contribution to modern music is, I don't think it's you can't state it often enough, and it is a bloody good record as well. So there we go, Psycho Candy, Jesus and Mary Chain, historically important artist. Right, question 13. An album you own because of your parents. Possibly, no, definitely more than anybody, the person who had the most influence on my early musical taste and got me going with it was my dad. And I've answered this question in many different ways before, and the album that I had to get on vinyl, on CD, and I've still got my original tape copy that he had from the 1970s that he bought in the 70s, is Diamond Dogs. So we've got more Bowie. This is still my favourite Bowie album, probably because of the emotional attachment I've got to this, and the way that this opened my eyes up to so many different types of music. I mean, you've got experimentalism, you know, Chant the Ever Circling Skeletal Family. You've got out and out rock and roll like Rebel Rebel. You've got the suite of songs that makes up the first 5 songs. It's Philly Soul, the beginnings of his flirtation with Philly Soul on here, like 1984. Things like odd things like We Are the Dead. This is just a brilliant record from start to finish, and I've whittled on about that so many times. I'm not going to do too much more. So there we go. An album you own because of your parents. Definitely my dad. Thanks, Dad. Right. Best dollar bin find from last year. I'm going to take this as. And this I was flabbergasted when I saw this well, because I live in the UK, I'm going to go best pound find, because we don't have dollars. So I was flabbergasted when I saw this for £1. Now I do most of my shopping, my record shopping, in charity shops, so I do pick up a lot of cheap records. Don't tend to go into record shops and their dollar bins, mainly because there aren't that many around. But this I found in a charity shop for £1. Couldn't believe it. Sex Pistols, Flogging a Dead Horse. There's the proof. I haven't taken the sticker off yet. So it's got all kinds of stuff on here. Anakin UK, God Save the Queen, Pretty Vacant, My Way, Something Else, Stepping Stone, Great Rock and Roll Swindle. I don't know whether it's an original issue, but to find a Sex Pistols record in really lovely shape for £1 was absolutely incredible. So there's my dollar bin find of the year. Flogging a Dead Horse, the Pistols. Right, favourite double album. So this could have been Electric Ladyland, and I can't remember when I did my top 20 albums. I never remember which one I put more highly, and the order of that top 20 will change anyway, apart from maybe the top two. But I'm going to go. I don't want to show Electric Ladyland again, so I'm going to show this. Yes, it's this Screamadelica, my original copy from 1991. Such an amazing album from start to finish. This is when the Scream really hit their stride. From Moving On Up, when they finally harnessed their Stone, well, not finally, but they harnessed their Stones fixation and produced a glorious song. Things like the Roky Erickson cover, Slip Inside This House, which is turned inside out into a dance anthem. Don't Fight It, Feel It, where Bobby Gillespie doesn't even hardly sing on it. Higher Than the Sun, which is a monumental song in two versions as well, because you've got the Orb Dub Symphony as well. Things like Come Together, Loaded. How influential was Loaded? Damaged, I'm Coming Down. This is just a fantastic record from start to finish. Absolutely brilliant. Right. An album you learned about from the VC in the last year. I don't know whether I learned about that many albums from the VC in the last year. I kind of took 6 months off from videos and watching, and so my memory is probably a bit hazy. But I do remember, what I do like about the VC is it makes you reinvestigate albums that you kind of may have dismissed. I mean, for instance, this afternoon, I saw a comment on the Facebook channel about Slint, and somebody got it as VCLT, the Spiderland album, and I'd never got that album, never got it at all. But I whacked it up on YouTube, because you can find it on YouTube, and my goodness me, it clicked this afternoon. What a record that really is. Fabulous from start to finish. I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it this time, and I never clicked with it before. But another one, because I want to show a record, that happened with last year, and I think it was due to John Downing, possibly, but other people as well, made me reappraise this one. Oh, it must have been James as well, because we're talking about Trevor Horn. I love ABC, but I'd always loved the later records like Beauty Stab, How to Be a Zillionaire, much more than this one. So when we were talking about Trevor Horn and other stuff, 80s stuff, a lot of people talked about this again, and I thought maybe it's time that I did reappraise it, and it's great. It really is good. I mean, Trevor Horn's a genius. I would basically buy anything he had his hand on, to be honest. Fantastic stuff. Trevor Horn, what a producer. So there we go. So an album I reappraised because of the VC, Lexicon of Love. Oh, 10-inch record. Okay, 10-inch record. I'm going to show you this one. Right, so before my dad passed on, he had an urge to hear a record, and I think this might have been due to the state he was in, but it was a 10-inch record. So I got him a gramophone, played 78s, and he really wanted to hear this, which is Victimone, Ebb Tide. I'm probably not going to play this very often, because it's not my kind of music, but I'm never going to get rid of it. It's a proper 78, really heavy. Love the sound that these records make in your hands. That's what I like about vinyl, the tactile. So tactile. So yeah, there's a 10-inch record that I'm never getting rid of. Ebb Tide by Victor Moan. Smashing stuff. Right, okay. 7-inch record. I've got hundreds of 7-inch records. I still buy them. I bought 3 today for £1. So I thought I'd show one of my favourites. One of these days I'm going to do a top my favourite songs video. I'm wondering whether I do it soon or not. Anyway, but I'm going to show this one. This is an amazing single. So this is Freak Scene by Dinosaur Jr. I still remember the day I saw it on Snub TV, which was an indie show on BBC Two in the late 80s, 88 I think this came out, on Blast First. Best guitar solos of almost any song. The way that the song basically shuts off up after about halfway, and then you get solo after solo on here, is amazing, and it is such a brilliant song anyway. So there you go, Dinosaur Jr. Freak Scene is my 7-inch single of choice for this video. Right, favourite album to fall asleep to? Still my favourite album to fall asleep to. I fell asleep to it a couple of nights ago because I've got it on my phone now, so I just plug my headphones in, my earbuds in, and fall asleep to it that way. I'm not going to get it out. I've got it out before. I've shown it before. So it's UFO by The Orb. This takes you to other places when you listen to it. This is the limited edition with the Patterns and Textures version of Beyond the Ultraworld as well. But I tend to listen to UFO to go to sleep with. Oh, maybe I can get it out. No, I'm not going to even bother. Go and look at the CD on the cover on Google or whatever. It's great from start to finish, from Victor Lewis Smith's Prank Phone Call to the Blue Room. Is Blue Room on this? Yeah, it is. Sure it is. No, Blue Room's not on this. What a twist. Towers of Dub, all kinds of stuff. Just so chilled out to listen to it, and I absolutely love it from start to finish. So that's my favourite record to fall asleep to, UFO by The Orb. And right, favourite VC experience and advice to people making videos. Well, advice to making videos is just do it. I mean, look at these videos that I put out. They're no great shakes. I mean, yeah, it took a step up when I got a new phone, but I do them all on my phone. I did buy a tripod, so I didn't have, so at least it's at the right sort of height. I use a spotlight as my lighting source, of a lamp. And then I just witter on. I don't do hardly any editing. I do have some video editing software just to put the titles on, maybe chop a couple of bits out. But just get on and do it. Just talk about your favourite records, what you buy. Don't worry if, oh, and also don't worry about subscribers. If you want to do it, just do it. I think the best thing about doing this are the people that I'm in contact with online now. I've met a lot. I mean, James, John Downing, Headley, Steve Whitty. I mean, probably I'm talking about the British contingent mainly, but Ambi, I'm really great. Dean, Grandma's Handbag Down Under. It's a way of connecting with the world that just gone beyond all my expectations I had when I recorded my first video. And my favourite VC experience, well, that is my favourite VC experience, is the connections that you make, and the new records you hear about, and the new information you find out, maybe about your favourite record, and there's something that you didn't know about it. And the joy that you see on most people, well, 99% of people's faces, when they find a record that they've really been searching for. No, what am I talking about? The joy that you see on everybody's face when they find a record that they've been after for ages, or whether they've listened to a specifically good album for the first time, or made unexpected discoveries. I think that's the best experience you can get out of VC, and making videos about records. It strikes me it's such a strange thing to do, really, is to sit here and witter on about records. But it's fun, and it's brought a lot of good experiences to my life. So thank you everybody for that, and for making me feel welcome in this little corner of YouTube. Right, so there we go. That's it. The end of the Vinyl Tag 2019. Hopefully this hasn't been too boring, and I hope I haven't witted on too much, although I can see it's possibly over half an hour already, so I'm going to get going. So thanks again. Everybody have a wonderful 2019, and I'll see you all again soon. Cheers, VC. Bye.